Well, it was a basketball team that, as the season wore on and even into the postseason, continued to define and refine what roles that each player had, and understood their roles and really played well together. It was a very unselfish team that led by three seniors who quite honestly had invested over a 4 year period in such a way that you hoped they could go out a Final Four or an Elite Eight team.
As, as good as reaching those things as any team you've had, probably.
Well, they were very, yeah. I mean, this group that graduated was on point for the most part for 4 years, probably as much as any group that has come into Georgia. Probably we've had classes in the past that were larger with 5, 6. In those recruiting classes who might have accomplished more, 95, 96 teams that went to the Final Four. But for a class this size of last year's class to have done what they did, I think is outstanding.
It's always, you hate to see three seniors go to WNBA, but what is the carryover expected? Every team has their own identity, as you know, you've been doing this so long. What do you try to carry over without trying to make it last year's team, because that's impossible?
Well, you really move away from it because when you lose your starting point guard, who's your quarterback, and you lose your go-to player inside, your post player, and then you lose a four-man, and at Georgia, our four-man is a great facilitator. She's more of a point forward. So you really do lose everything that a team is built around. So you dismiss it and you start over with different parts, different players, and figure out how this particular group is going to be able to play well enough together to be successful.
What did you feel on this team?
Well, it's early, and fact we're going to be young. But I think we're going to be very good in the backcourt, and I think we'll have some depth in the backcourt. This is a basketball team that has already demonstrated that it's willing to work and work with the right intentions to be as good as it can be. So I'm excited about that. I think on the front line, there's some players with a lot of potential, but they haven't done anything yet. So we have to develop those players on a day-to-day and game-by-game basis. And I rather suspect that if we're successful with that, by January or February, we could have a balanced, competitive basketball team.
And every team changes during the year. You know that. You try to peak, and that's the whole key, isn't it?
Well,
Get them playing right by conference.
and I don't think we'll have I just don't think we'll have a lot of trouble with this team peaking too soon because, they're so young. I mean, there's so much growth in front of them. This team may not peak for 2 years, but it does have a chance to be very competitive.
Finally, just out of curiosity, what gets you out of bed every day to keep doing this stuff?
Well, I came to Georgia.
Not that you're old.
Well, I came to Georgia a long time ago, and the objective was to win the national championship. We've played in that game twice and came up short. We've been to that Final 4 or 5 times, and essentially, either the program or the players have done everything else there is to do. We've had the Olympians. We've had 2 Olympians at the same time, 4-time All-Americans, national players of the year. We've played in all the NCAA tournaments. We've been to the Final Four. We've won the preseason NIT, the postseason NIT. There's one thing that hasn't been done at Georgia, and that's win the national championship. So when my feet hit the ground every morning, that's a thought that passes through. What can we do today to get this done?